On a remote Scottish island in the frigid waters of the North Atlantic, there once stood a solitary lighthouse that guided ships safely through the treacherous seas. And here lived a small team of men who dedicated their lives to keeping the beacon lit and the sailors safe. But one day in 1900, the lighthouse keeper vanished without a trace. No sign of a struggle, no boat leaving the shore, just gone. This is the baffling mystery of the Flannan Isles Lighthouse, one of Scotland's most enduring, unsolved disappearances. The Flannan Isles are a desolate archipelago of Scotland's northwest coast, a place where the raw power of nature is on full display. The islands are battered by harsh weather and treacherous seas, making them a dangerous place for even the most experienced sailors. The islands have played host to a number of shipwrecks over the years, which has contributed to the legend of the lighthouse, and its keepers risked their lives every day to keep the ships safe. At the end of the 19th century, the Flannan Isles were still relatively unknown outside of Scotland. The islands were uninhabited, except for the few men who tended the lighthouse. The lighthouse was built in 1854 and was one of the most important navigational aids in the area. The light shone brightly from its tower, warning sailors of the dangerous rocks and shallow waters that lay ahead. It was a lonely existence for the keepers, but they were well trained and committed to their duty. Then in December of 1900, everything changed. On December, a relief crew arrived at the island to find that the lighthouse was empty. The door was unlocked, and the lighthouse was in good working order, but there was no sign of the keepers. They had simply vanished. The relief crew searched the island, but found no trace of the missing men. There was no sign of a struggle, and no indication of where they may have gone. They found the food on the table, the lamps extinguished, and the beds neatly made. It was as if the keepers had simply disappeared into thin air. As days turned into weeks and the search continued, the mystery only deepened. People began to speculate about what could have happened to the keepers. Had they been swept away by a rogue wave, or had they been attacked by something more sinister? As news of the disappearance spread, so did the theories. Some believed that the keepers had been victims of a rare natural phenomenon known as a cannibal hole, a sudden and violent whirlpool that can appear in the ocean with little warning. Others believed that the men had been kidnapped by pirates or smugglers who used the lighthouse as a convenient place to hide their loot. Still others suspected that the keepers had simply gone mad and wandered out to sea. Amongst the theories, eyewitness accounts emerged. A strange light was seen around the island, and mysterious footsteps were heard in the night. Could there be something else lurking in the shadows? The most compelling clue came when one of the relief crews discovered a rope cutter and a bucket lying near the shore. Could this have something to do with the disappearance of the lighthouse keepers? To understand how this evidence fits into the puzzle, we need to know more about the lighthouse itself. The lighthouse was a sturdy stone tower that stood tall above the rocky cliffs. It was surrounded by a low stone wall that enclosed a small courtyard. In the center of the courtyard was a well that provided the keepers with fresh water. The lighthouse was equipped with a powerful lamp that emitted a bright beam of light that could be seen for miles out to sea. The light was controlled from a room at the top of the tower, and the keepers would climb a spiral staircase to reach it. The lighthouse also had a fog bell that would sound when the visibility was poor, warning ships to slow down and proceed with caution. Now let's take a closer look at that rope cutter and the bucket. The rope cutter was a simple tool that could be used to cut mooring lines or fishing nets. It was found lying on the ground near the shore, and it appeared to be old and well used. The bucket was a small iron bucket that could be used to collect water from the well. It was found overturned near the rope cutter, and it was as if someone had dropped it and ran away. At first, this clue didn't seem particularly significant, but as the investigation continued, it became clear that it could hold the key to solving the mystery. So what could these objects tell us about the disappearance of the lighthouse keepers? One possibility was that the keepers had been trying to repair the well when they disappeared. The well was an essential source of fresh water for the keepers, and it was possible that it had become damaged or blocked. The rope cutter could have been used to clear any debris from the well, and the bucket could have fallen into the shaft when the men were working. However, this theory didn't hold up under scrutiny. There was no evidence that the well had been used recently, and the rope cutter was old and didn't match the description of the bucket. Another possibility was that the keepers had been working on the lighthouse when they disappeared. The lighthouse was a large structure with many moving parts, and it required constant maintenance. It was possible that the keepers had been working on the light or the fog bell when they were taken by surprise and fell to their deaths. But again, there was no evidence to support this theory. There had been no reports of strange noises or vibrations coming from the lighthouse, and the light and fog bell were still in good working order. Then suddenly, a dramatic theory emerged. A survivor from a nearby shipwreck claimed to have seen something strange near the island. He said he saw a large dark shape moving on the beach, and he assumed it was a whale. Could there be a giant creature lurking near the island, preying on the keepers? The idea seemed far-fetched, but it was too intriguing to ignore. After all, the island was known to be home to a variety of sea creatures, including seals and porpoises. It was not impossible that a large creature could be living in the waters near the island. And then another piece of the puzzle fell into place. The lighthouse logs contained a strange entry from October. The keeper had reported seeing something strange in the sea. He described it as a dark, slimy object that was about the size of a house and moved with great speed. Could this be the same creature that the survivor had seen? Or was it something else entirely? The idea of a giant sea creature prowling near the island was too terrifying to contemplate. But it was possible that this was the key to solving the mystery. Was the lighthouse keeper right? Is there a giant creature lurking in the waters off the coast of Scotland, preying on the unsuspecting? Unfortunately, we may never know for sure. The Flannan Isles. Lighthouse mystery is one of the most enduring unsolved cases in history. The disappearance of the three keepers has never been explained, and the strange clues that have surfaced over the years have only added to the intrigue. While the official theory attributes their vanishing to a freak wave or accident, the eyewitness accounts and mysterious messages suggest something more sinister. Maybe a vicious animal attack or even supernatural forces were at play. Over the years, this mystery has captured the imaginations of people all over the world. Books, films, and TV shows have been made about the case, and countless theories have been proposed. Some believe that the keepers were abducted by aliens, while others think they were the victims of a secret government experiment. But despite all the theories and speculation, the truth remains elusive. If you love unsolved mysteries, then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more eerie true stories. You'll get to be the first to know when our latest videos are released. Who knows, you might even learn something new. And as always, thanks for watching.